Lee, thanks for joining us. Well, Minnesota is known as a state of hockey, so it would make sense that the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame Museum is called Eveleth, home for more than 50 years.
But recent discussions among their 14-person board of directors could jeopardize that history, possibly move it out of the Northland.
Northern News Now's Ryan Hayes spoke to some lawmakers about where exactly these discussions stand and why there is bipartisan support to keep it here.
Welcome to Eveleth, home of hockey in America. But the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame's board of directors is considering a move that would bring the museum to the cities where the Minnesota Wild play.
What would it look like if it were to move to St. Paul?
The board's chair and Minnesota Senator Karin Housley says the goal is to get more eyes on our hockey legends.
If you really want to grow the sport of hockey, getting more exposure for the legends of Eveleth, the legends of Minnesota, and the legends of the United States.
Housley says other sporting Hall of Fames get 300,000 to 400,000 visitors a year, while the hockey one in Eveleth only gets around 9,000.
There would be a lot more people that would be exposed to American hockey and what we have grown here and what great players that we have.
The U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame has been right here in Eveleth for over 50 years, but as some Northland lawmakers have told me, taking away this building would mean taking away a vital piece of the city's history.
This shouldn't be moved. Eveleth is the home of hockey, and the Hockey Hall of Fame should stay on the range.
Democratic Senator Grant Hochschild says he is planning on introducing a resolution and legislation opposing the move aimed at stopping capital investment dollars from going to the project.
So the idea of moving it away from the Iron Range to the Twin Cities simply for a foot traffic idea, I think is really unfortunate.
Republican Rep. Cal Warwis says the move doesn't make sense and hopes to keep the hall on the range.
It's a punch in the gut to the region. So, I mean, obviously we don't want to lose any more of these kinds of fixtures in our area.
Housley reassures there is no bill in place to do so. She says it is simply a conversation and wants every stakeholder to have a voice in the discussion, especially Eveleth.
I think it's important for everybody to have a seat at the table instead of just somebody coming in and saying, you know, here's what we're doing.
Making sure the only way to move forward is if it's a win-win for both the range and the cities. In Eveleth, Ryan Hayes, Northern News Now.
Ryan, thank you. Now, the U.S. Hockey Hall of Fame board says any changes to the Hall of Fame would require a majority vote from their board, which is made up of people from all over the state of Minnesota, including the Iron Range. Well, happening right now, we're on the scene of a large structure fire off of Old Miller Trunk Highway, just off of Highway 53 near Pike Lake. Nearly a dozen fire trucks and agencies are assisting on scene. Fire crews have been working to contain the fire for more than an hour. We're working to learn the cause and if there are any injuries. Of course, stay with Northern News Now on air and online for updates.
New tonight, President